switching so difficult? Because there's no more shell. No more shell. Why is there no more shell? Because there's no more shell. No more shell, and the shell didn't have time to horrible like he does usually, because you have to spend time just getting the source straight.
Zogt the Heilige Gemara. Ve'etzem the pshit alon latana the mishal tzibur minolon. We had a discussion who brings the salt yesterday. Now we are discussing who brings the wood, and it seems like it's poshut that it's the Beis Hamikdash that stells to the salt, right? The wood, right? The salt we had a shaila. Does the kohen have to pay for his own salt or not? Because he wasn't a member. The kohen was a member.
Who brings it or who gives it?
Who has to pay for it? Who stells it to? Yeah.
Because you had the son of Ben Yamin, he says that they had the rights to bring the korban eitzim.
That's right. So Zogt the Gemara, Klor, the wood is communal wood. The Tanya we learned. Yachala imar re'elai oila. Yavi eitzim mitoich beisa kader shemayvi nesachin mitoich beisa. When you bring a korban, you bring along all of its accessories. Maybe you got to bring along the wood too. Tamid lomer ala eitzim asher al ha'esh asher al ha'mizbeach. The eitzim and the eish are compared to the mizbeach. Ma mizbeach mishal tzibur af eitzim ve'eish mishal tzibur. Divrei Rabbi Lazar Reb Shimon. Rabbi Lazar ben Shmuel takes it a step further. It has to be something that was never used for personal use. They both hold it comes from the tzibur. The difference is, according to Rabbi Lazar ben Shmuel, only new wood, unused wood, is allowed to be used for the eitzim. We had this exact more before. When Aravna was negotiating with David on the sale of the property that was going to be used for the Beis Hamikdash, she had a whole ranch there. So he told David, take the whole thing. You're taking it with all the accessories. Everything's included. Yikach v'yav Adoni hamelach hatoy be'enov re'ei haboker la'oila v'amoyrigim uchlo haboker la'etzim. So you see, it was used. They used wood that was already fashioned into kalim. Zok Gemara, the Gemara is going to ask that next question. Hachanami bechadati. We're talking about new products. Someone asked me this morning, just because Arvona offered this to David, who said they would have used it? Well, Rav was such a big Talmud Chacham. He offered. Who said they were going to use it? So why is that a raya?
Navi wouldn't record it.
Oh, okay.
So why is it different than korban? The korban, I can't bring it was use it for something.
A behemah you could use.
The korban. So why is it worse than the korban?
Where does it come from?
No, I'm saying why the eitzim can't be used by a
because we compared to mizbeach. Ma mizbeach shlo nishtamish because it's because we have a limit from eitzim ve'esh to mizbeach. We don't have a limit from behemah to mizbeach. Only those kabbalas where the Torah says Allah oil. Those are paraduma and there's an egarufa. Yeah. So Dr. My Merigim, the Gemara asks you're mechavan to the Gemara's kasha. Merigim is a board that has crevices and points on it that you drag over grain to thresh them. So it's a mita shel tarbel. It's a terrible bed. My mita shel tarbel, Amr of Yehuda, Isa de Korkasa, the Dashu Boydishtoi. That it was made that they would thresh with it. Amr of Yosy, my car, where do you see a pasuk to that effect? The Navi Yeshaya tells us that Osad Lavai, when Mashiach comes, all the great, seemingly invulnerable nations, untouchable nations, Hakadosh Baruch Hu will give Klal Yisrael the koyach to shred them. Hinei samtech l'moirik. I'm going to make you Klal Yisrael into a moirik, a threshing machine. Choretz chodesh bal pi fios, todush orim, you'll ground down even mountains. Zog the heilige Mishnah weiter. Nisayir kumtza b'koimitz chaverta. You have two kemitzos from two different menachos. They're both in a keli, and now we don't know who's the two. Or b'minchas kohanim, in a whole big pot of mincha that's going to go on the mizbech because the kohanim's mincha didn't have a koimitz. Or b'minchas kohen Mashiach, or b'minchas nesachim, which all do not have a kemitzah. Sure, you just makriv them not knowing what is what, you can still be makriv them all together. As long as the full kaimitz of each is placed, or the full shear of each is placed on the mizbeach. But Rabbi Yehuda Omer, b'minchas kohen Mashiach, b'minchas nesachim, those would be psula. You know why? Shezu b'lulasa ava. The minchas kohen Mashiach and the minchas nesachim, there was less oil to flour ratio, and therefore it's thicker. The zubulasa raka. So what's the problem with that? What's going to happen is one is going to be below oil from the other. If one is below oil from the other, then the one that's supposed to have oil will be choser oil, and the one that's I'm sorry.
Well, one leg has too much oil.
I'm sorry.
The one that has one leg will have too much oil.
Will have too much oil. That's right, and therefore they are both be puzzle. And even though the Mishnah uses a lashon of psula singular, Rashi says it means psulais. They're both puzzle as well as Tosfos says the same. Tanan also, we have a Mishnah. Dam shenisarav b'mayim, is that dam kosher for zrika? Im yesh b'mayim dam kosher, but nisarav b'yayin, you look at the yayin like it's water. Roi noisha ki'ilu humayim. Nisarav b'dam behema or b'dam chaya. Again, roi noisha ki'ilu humayim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ein dam mevatel dam. Anyway, dam is not batal dam. Rabbi Yehuda is going to tell us it's because min b'minoi is low bottle. Rabbi Yehuda's min b'minoi is not bottle.
Even the ones that chaya ones behemoth is still.
I guess so, yeah. Omer Rabbi Yochanan, u'shneim mikra echad. They both know it from the same pasuk. By Yom Kippur it says that you blend the dam of the par with the dam of soyer. V'lodech min dam of par with dam of soyer. Hadover you do a shadome shel par, meruba midam shel soyer. So Rabban Savri, the Rabban say, what do you learn from here? It's a din in things that are brought on the Mizbeach, she'ein mevatlen zeh. It's not enough min b'mino, it's a special din lagabi oilim. Rabbi Yehuda Savri, mikan lemin b'mino she'ein mevatlen. So the question is, what do you take out of the fact that the dam ha'seir and dam ha'par, that the dam ha'seir is not bottled? Rabban Savri, mikan le'olim she'ein mevatlen zeh. What's the right? That's the reason. What's the right? That's because of oil. V'dom mishum demin b'minoi. Maybe it's because of min b'minoi. That's not bottle. Zok the Rabbanon. If that's what the Torah wanted to tell us, then the Torah would have told us a case of min b'minoi. Iash min b'minoi bottle. V'lo min oilin. Then kedukamit. If the Torah wanted to tell me that argument is a cloud min b'minoi is low bottle, it would have told us a case of min b'minoi when it was not oilin. Obviously the reason is Mishum Doilin. Frankly, maybe you need both in order to say that it's not bottle. So Kasha knew that I'll live with. Rabbi Yehuda over Mikan Min B'minoi She'eino bottle. The same question for character is Doma Mishum Doilin. Who? Yash Min Oilin Min B'Sheine Minoi Kedekamrit. Actually, that's Min B'minoi Mishum B'min B'minoi who? In fact, Kasha. So there's a couple of things we want to speak out. Merberich was a little bit intrigued by the very large Tosfos. So Tosfos has a whole discussion. There's a whole shiloh, first of all, if they mix the two bloods together or not. There are those that didn't mix the two bloods together. So the whole thing wouldn't be Nageya, but then they have a discussion of when you say min b'min is low bottle, there's a whole shiloh what does that mean? Does it mean it's not bottle, or maybe it's bottle berave? There's a whole shiloh what min b'min low bottle means. The only thing I wanted to bring out was the art scroll quotes from the Ran, which is a very good Shema Quran that we learned in the dorm. The svara for min b'min low bottle is a very good svara. Normally, bittul means about this is different than that, and there's so much of this and very little of that, the little becomes overwhelmed by the lot. So min b'minoi, fakert, they're mechazik each other. They're both the same thing, they're both wine, they're both dam. So, Ba'atzim, the time of Rabbi Yehuda is a good time, min b'minoi should not be bottled. Zertuan, who said, when you're looking at the mavatal, you're looking at its physical properties. It's red, it tastes this way, it feels that way. No, maybe you look at its halachic properties. Isser and Heter is going to be bottle because halachically they're wrong. Those are very different things. So Mamela, If that's what you're looking at, if you're looking at the Isra and the Heter Shabai, then it's not a kasha, because everything is min b'minoi. Everything is min b'she'ena minoi. Okay, let's look at Gemara weiter. Tanan we learned, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, b'minchas kohen Mashiach, u'b'minchas nesachim psula. There it would be possible. Why? Shazu b'lilasa ava v'zu b'lilasa raka. That was our Mishnah. V'hen bolos zu mizu. What do you mean they're bolei one from the other? Doesn't Rabbi Yehuda hold min b'mino lo batel? V'chi bolos zu mizu. Mahava min b'mino. And it's not batel. Amar Rava, you're right. Kasav Rabbi Yehuda. Here, yes, it's oil with oil, but there's also flour here. So what do? Make believe in the mevatel that there's no oil, and the flour only of the larger mincha, rabba alav mevatloi. So it's not the oil that's being mevatel oil, it's the flour that's being mevatel oil. So therefore, one's going to be chaser oil, and one is going to be Salak Semina Shemen the Koimates Mishom Nidava Kimisha Einoi. Venim to sort the Shokoimates Rabba al Shemen and Nifla boy Umevatloi. So that's why there's not enough Shemen in one, and in the other one there'll be too much Shemen because it's bottled, it becomes like it.
Who cares if it's bottled now? You still have too much oil there. The oil and the flour and butter.
If it wasn't bottled, then you would say that the original mincha has its oil. But without we mevatel it, now the original mincha doesn't have its oil anymore. Because they're mixed together, right?
Right.
So, but if it's not there anymore, that's when we have a problem. Itmar, koimeitz the minchas choita. We know a minchas choita is supposed to be pure flour. There's no lavonia, there's no shemen, but sheshamnoi. Before you put it on mizbech, you give it a shemir with oil. Why you would do that, we'll see soon. Rabbi Yechon Omer Posel, Verse Lokish Omar. What are you talking about? That's what you're supposed to do. Who atzvay nishachshechay b'shiyori haluk. And there's a discussion: where do you get this oil from? There are those who learn you just wipe it out of a oil from another mincha that was used, or you can get it from extra oil from the Loig Mitzorah. There's all discussion how you would get this extra oil. And that's how you put it on Mizbech. The Briskerov says, the article brings down, that the reason why you would have oil is so it should hold it together. Otherwise it's just flour, it'll fall apart. The oil is to hold it together.
What's the marker of this?
Well, I don't know. I don't see the Briskerov inside. The article just brings
of the Shlokish.
I don't know. I don't know how Shlokish
It's
is.
in the Torah,
I don't know. He said, who asked him Meshach be sure? Rashi doesn't bring him a marker. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know the answer. V'afek more vaksiv.
And therefore, if you add the oil from the other one, that makes it.
You're supposed to do that.
It resets it.
You're supposed to do that. Dr. Shalvish, yeah. V'afek more vaksiv. Lo yosim Allah shemen. What Titach asks in Kasha, how could you get oil from another mincha? If you took oil from another mincha, the other mincha is chaser.
No, it's finished. So after it's finished.
But what do you mean after it's finished? After it's finished, you have to have every drop of oil, or otherwise it will be chaser. What do you mean after it's finished?
Oil that poured out over.
You know what? Maybe every drop of oil has to be part of the mincha.
How do you like?
So Tosfos says, "Vim toimar hetnam bepirkin hashemen miyutoy me'akavus ruboy v'yishloimar shalei nitna Torah lemalachi hashareis v'efshir shalei yishar beloig min hashemen," which is what you said. But it's not possible because lo nitna Torah lemalachi hashareis. Because that's the Gemara writer.
So what is it? So where's the oil from?
So you have leftover from the mincha. If you left the mincha, you pour out the mincha. They'll be on the wall of a keli. You could scrape out some. You don't have to scrape all that out to put it with the mincha.
And that's enough to keep it together.
I guess so. Zok to Gemara, we have a problem. V'aksiv lo yosim lo Hashem v'olitna olavay. No. Zok to Shlokish hahu shelo yikava lo shemen kechaversel. You're not supposed to give it a kvias of shemen like other menachos, but about a little shemen to hold it together is just fine. I'm going to prove to you that it's possible. Because the Brisa says, charev, a mincha charev, which is a mincha without flour, shenisar bebolol, yakriv, you could be makriv. Rabbi Yehuda Omer lo yakriv, similar to our Mishnah, because we're going to have the problem of bittul, right? So my love, What's charev and what's bolo? Koimetz the minchas chayte, the Arav, but koimetz the minchas nedava, and what's the halacha? The halacha is they both possible, according to the Rabbanan, according to Yehuda. Why would they both be possible? What's the problem? It's supposed to have oil. Zok Rashi, Vafilu Rabbanan le'omer Yaakov, ela mishum the oilin ein mevakin zesa. It's only because the oil is not mevakin zesa, so everything remains where it is. Wherever the oil is in this mixture, it's connected to the minchas hadava. Avo nafal shemen bekoimets techayte afilu l'rabbanan yikarv. So you see, even the rabbanan would be minded that the shemen does not belong on the minchas charev. It only belongs in the mincha that it's supposed to have it. They just hold that it's there. It didn't get mixed up.
Which shemen? What shemen fell?
If shemen from the regular mincha,
oil and shemen or not? Shemen that was oil?
Yeah, we're talking about shemen that's part of the koimetz, right? Shemen that's part of the koimetz of the wet mincha is mixed in with the flour of the dry mincha, right? So Zok Gemara, that's not what it means. It's referring to loy minchas parim ve'elim b'minchas ksavim kvasim, because Rashi says that the ratio of oil to flour by a mincha of parim ve'elim is lower than the ratio of oil to flour by the minchas kvasim. And therefore, there's a higher oil content by minchas kvasim, and some of it's going to go over to the parim ve'elim. For the Gemara, you can't say that's what it means when it says charev shenish arev b'bolo. Because the same brayso that says charev shenish arev b'bolo also lists off as a second case parim ve'elim b'minchas kvasim. Minchas parim ve'elim b'minchas kvasim v'charev shenish arev b'bolo yikarev b'yidayim le'yakarv. So the Gemara, it doesn't mean it's two separate cases. It's pirushi kamafarish law. Develop it. Zok the Gemara about it. Boy Rova koimetz shemitza shamnoi al gabei etzim. You had a koimetz that's saturated with oil, and you squeeze the oil out of the koimetz, and now there's oil puddle on the wood on the mizbeach, and now you have your koimetz. Where will you place it to burn? Right on top of that oil pile. So that's what connect malchibur oil and koilami. Since you were marking them together, is it considered that the koimetz had oil in it? Well, lav koilami. Omar Ravina Rashi. Lav Hanu Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, isn't this the exact machlokes that we have between Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish? Didmar Hamayla Ever She'ein Bei Kazayis. So would that be considered Ha'Allah B'chutz, which comes with the Chi of Kares? It's not a Kazayis, but the Etzem Ashlima the Kazayis. The bone in it is Mashal Kazayis, so that's Oilanimai. That's Mamash the case. Rabbi Yochanan Mechayev Rish Lakish Rabbi Potter. Rabbi Yochanan Mechayev Chibur El Ka'il Dami. And therefore the Kemitza would be fine as well. For Shlok Potter, Chibur and Lafkoel Nami, and then the Kemitza wouldn't be possible. So I can no, it's not. Tola in Rabbi Yochanan and Shlokish, they each can hold of either tzad and our shaila. You know why? By Eitzim it's considered part of it, and it's considered the Kazayis. The meaning the Baso. Be'etzim, I'm sorry, that's right. The meaning the Baso. The meat and the bone are one be'aver, it's one thing. Yeah, the hair, that would be mitzaref. Oil and flour are two separate things. We consider them one. Loi. Who holds that by the wood it doesn't combine, the bar mifreshu, the wood could fall apart, I keep on saying the wood, the bone could fall out, and if the bone falls off the mizbeach, lav mitzvah lahadure. You don't put the bone back on the mizbeach if it falls off. Avol shemen, the lav mifreshu normally doesn't separate out, and if it falls out, you got to put it back in. You have to be accurate. It's an integral part of the koimetz. Loi, adom lo shna, teku. Well, how long did it take us to learn this stuff? A very easy stuff.